The morning sun blazed over Lagos, coating the bustling streets in golden light. Zara Okoye balanced 3 containers of steaming pepper soup, navigating through the throng of bodies on Broad Street. Her worn sandals slapped against the pavement as she checked her wristwatch, 15 minutes to deliver the food to the office workers who ordered daily from her grandmother's food stall. "Excuse me, excuse," she called, weaving between suited professionals and street hawkers. The honking of cars provided the city's heartbeat, while the air hung heavy with humidity and the scent of jollof rice from nearby vendors. Zara's white blouse clung to her skin, but she maintained her purposeful stride. Law school tuition wouldn't pay itself, and these deliveries supplemented their meager income. Meanwhile, at the gleaming 40-story Adetokunbo Tower, Ayo Adetokunbo ended a call that had sealed another billion-naira acquisition. His corner office overlooked the city like a kingdom, the chaos below appearing small and inconsequential. His assistant knocked timidly. "Sir, the investors from Cape Town are waiting." Ayo straightened his custom suit. "I'll take the private elevator down, have the car ready." Minutes later, his Mercedes pulled to the curb beside an upscale restaurant. As Ayo stepped out, preoccupied with his phone, Zara rounded the corner at full speed, directly into his path. The collision was spectacular. Containers flew open. Thick red pepper soup splashed across Ayo's handcrafted Italian shoes, splattering his trouser cuffs. The scalding liquid made him jump back with a shout. "What nonsense is this?" Ayo's voice cut through the street noise. Passers-by froze, recognizing the tech mogul instantly. Zara scrambled to collect her containers. "I'm so sorry, sir, it was an accident." "Do you have any idea what these shoes cost?" Ayo's eyes blazed. "More than you'll earn in a year." Zara's apology died on her lips as she stood, dignity rising like a shield. "An accident deserves forgiveness, not insult." "Forgiveness?" Ayo scoffed, aware of the growing crowd of onlookers. Some had phones out, recording. "You should be more careful, girl. People like you can't afford mistakes around people like me." "People like me?" Zara's voice remained measured but gained steel. "And what kind of person am I, exactly?" A muscle twitched in Ayo's jaw. This street girl's audacity was intolerable, especially with Cape Town investors waiting and his patience already depleted from the morning's stress. "The kind who should know her place." The crowd murmured. Someone whispered, "That's Adetokunbo, the tech guy." Zara straightened her shoulders. "My place is anywhere I have the right to be. The sidewalk belongs to everyone." Something in her composure, the unexpected elegance of her Nigerian-accented English, perhaps, made Ayo hesitate. But then his phone buzzed with a reminder about the investors, and the moment of recognition vanished. "Learn some respect," he hissed, and before anyone could intervene, his hand moved in a swift arc, connecting with Zara's cheek. The slap echoed like a thunderclap. Zara's head jerked sideways, her braided hair swinging across her face. Gasps erupted, phones captured everything. Zara touched her stinging cheek, eyes wide with shock before narrowing with determination. "You'll regret that," she said quietly. As Ayo straightened his cufflinks and turned away, he didn't see the woman behind him taking his picture, didn't hear the whispered name passing through the crowd like wildfire. "That's Zara Okoye, Senator Okoye's daughter." By evening, the video would be trending across Nigeria with the hashtag billionaire slap. And by morning, Ayo Adetokunbo would discover that some problems couldn't be solved with money or power. "Are you completely insane?" Kemi Badmus, Ayo's head of public relations, slammed her tablet onto his desk the next morning. The video played on screen, his hand striking Zara's cheek, her stunned expression, bystanders' shocked faces. 3 million views overnight, Kemi said. "Every news outlet in West Africa is running with it. Billionaire slap is trending from Dakar to Johannesburg." Ayo loosened his tie. "She ruined a $3,000 pair of shoes and wasted my time before a crucial meeting." "And that justifies assault in public?" Kemi's voice rose. The board is in crisis mode. 2 potential partners have already backed out. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, Lagos sprawled beneath gathering rain clouds. Ayo's empire, built over a decade of ruthless innovation and strategic partnerships, now threatened by 10 seconds of unchecked anger. Who is she anyway? Some street vendor. Kemi's laugh held no humor. That street vendor is Zara Okoye, Senator Okoye's daughter. The name hit Ayo like a physical blow. 7 years ago, his fledgling company had provided the digital evidence that helped send Senator Okoye to prison for corruption. The scandal had cleared Ayo's path to several government contracts that became the foundation of his wealth. She's filed charges, Kemi continued, and rejected our settlement offer of 20 million naira. Across town, in a modest 2-bedroom apartment, Zara pressed a cool cloth to her still tender cheek as her grandmother, Mama Okoye, prepared breakfast. You should have taken the money, the elderly woman said, stirring a pot of akara batter. 20 million would pay for your final year at law school and help us move somewhere better. Zara shook her head. This isn't about money, NNE. Men like Adetokunbo think they can buy their way out of anything. Her phone buzzed with another media request, the 5th that morning. Outside their building, 2 reporters waited. Besides, Zara continued, remember what Baba always said before, everything happened, justice isn't for sale. Mama Okoye's eyes softened at the mention of her son, once Nigeria's most promising reform politician. Your father had principles, yes, but look where those principles landed him. A knock interrupted them. Zara opened the door to find her childhood friend Uch, now a junior partner at Lagos's most prestigious law firm. The partners sent me, Uch said, eyes bright with excitement. They want to take your case pro bono. This could set precedent for how wealthy individuals treat ordinary citizens. I'm not an ordinary citizen, Uch. I'm a final-year law student who happens to sell food. Exactly, Uch clasped her hands. That's what makes this perfect. You're not some helpless victim, you're educated, articulate. The media will love you. Later that afternoon, as rain pounded Lagos, Ayo's luxury SUV crawled through traffic toward the courthouse where his lawyers awaited. His phone rang, the board chairman. This needs to end, Ayo, whatever it takes. Our stock dropped 15% today. Ayo stared out at the rain-slicked streets, at people hustling under makeshift umbrellas, at a city that suddenly seemed to hold its collective breath, waiting to see a powerful man face consequences. What troubled him most wasn't the legal trouble or financial implications. It was the memory of Zara's eyes after he'd struck her, not fear but a dignified fury that had followed him into his dreams. Find out what she really wants, Ayo told his driver. Everyone has a price. But as the car passed a street corner plastered with sudden posters bearing his face and the words, accountability now, Ayo Adetokunbo had the unsettling feeling that he'd finally encountered something his billions couldn't solve. The courthouse buzzed with spectators as Judge Amina Danjuma delivered her verdict. Ayo stood stone-faced in an impeccable suit while Zara sat composed in a simple dress that carried the dignity of someone far beyond her station. The court finds the defendant guilty of assault, Judge Danjuma pronounced. In addition to damages of 5 million naira, Mr. Adetokunbo will complete 30 days of community service working alongside Ms. Okoye at her grandmother's food stall. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the courtroom. Ayo's lawyer leaned in frantically, whispering options for appeal, but Ayo's eyes remained locked on Zara, who met his gaze without flinching. Your Honor, Ayo's lawyer protested, my client's schedule is less important than learning that actions have consequences, Judge Danjuma interrupted. This service begins tomorrow at 6 a.m., court adjourned. Dawn broke over Lagos with the call of roosters and early market hawkers. Ayo arrived at Mama Okoye's humble food stall wearing the plainest clothes he owned, still visibly expensive. Customers lined up, many clearly there to witness the spectacle of the billionaire's humiliation. "You're late," Zara said coolly, handing him an apron. "Wash your hands, you'll start with peeling yams." The morning progressed painfully. Ayo's manicured hands blistered from chopping vegetables. His designer watch was splashed with palm oil. Sweat soaked his shirt as he worked beside steaming pots in the unforgiving heat. "The knife is not a pen signing acquisition papers," Mama Okoye chided, demonstrating the proper technique. "Hold it like this, with respect." By midday, his humiliation had been thoroughly documented by passers-by with smartphones. His PR team was working overtime spinning the situation as Adetokunbo connects with grassroots entrepreneurship. "Why didn't you take the money?" he finally asked Zara as they washed dishes side by side. 20 million naira would change your life." Zara scrubbed a pot vigorously. "My life doesn't need changing, and not everything is for sale, Mr. Adetokunbo." Days passed with surprising rhythm. Ayo's hands hardened. He learned to distinguish between peppers, to time the cooking of beans perfectly, to recognize regular customers by name. On the fifth day, during a rare quiet moment, Zara asked, "Do you know who I am, really?" The question caught him off guard. "Senator Okoye's daughter." "And do you know what happened to him?" Ayo hesitated, uncomfortable memories surfacing. "He was convicted of corruption." "Based on evidence your company provided," her voice remained calm but her eyes burned. "Evidence that was selectively presented. You helped destroy my father for government contracts." The accusation hung between them like smoke. Before Ayo could respond, a customer approached and Zara's professional smile returned instantly. That evening, for the first time, Ayo didn't immediately shower away the food stall's smells when he returned to his penthouse. Instead, he opened files he hadn't reviewed in years, the Senator Okoye case. What he found troubled him deeply. The next morning, he arrived early with a thermos of premium coffee for Mama Okoye and a quiet determination in his eyes. "Show me everything today," he told Zara. "I want to learn properly." Something in his voice, perhaps genuine humility, made Zara pause. "Why?" "Because I've been wrong about many things," he replied simply. As they worked side by side preparing jollof rice, their hands occasionally brushed. Each time, Ayo noticed Zara's quick intake of breath that matched his own accelerated heartbeat, a development neither had anticipated and both seemed determined to ignore. But Lagos noticed. Customers commented on their improved coordination. Someone posted a video of them laughing together over a spilled pot of soup, a moment of genuine connection that contradicted the animosity their story had begun with. That night, as Zara walked home through streets now familiar with her fame, she fought against an unwelcome truth. She was beginning to see beyond the billionaire's facade to the wounded, complex man beneath. A man whose actions had once destroyed her family but whose eyes now followed her with something dangerously close to tenderness. The final week of Ayo's community service arrived with Lagos gripped by an unexpected development. The unlikely pair had become the city's favorite story. Media outlets that had vilified Ayo now documented his transformation. Customers flocked to the food stall, business booming so significantly that Mama Okoye hired 2 helpers. On a humid Thursday afternoon, Zara found Ayo in quiet conversation with her grandmother, heads bent over old photographs. "Your father was a good man," Mama Okoye told him, "principled to a fault. When he refused those bribes, powerful people marked him for destruction." Ayo nodded solemnly. "I've been investigating. My company was used. We provided data without context. I didn't question it because the contracts benefited us." "And now?" Zara asked from the doorway, her voice tight. Ayo turned, their eyes meeting with an intensity that made Mama Okoye quietly excuse herself. "I've submitted new evidence to the Justice Ministry," he said. "Your father's case is being reviewed. The real culprits, those who framed him, will face charges." Zara's knees weakened. She steadied herself against the wall. "Why would you do this? Your company can survive truth," Ayo finished. "I built my empire on your family's ruins without questioning. I owe this correction." That evening, they closed the stall together. Lagos had transformed from oppressive heat to gentle twilight, the air sweet with distant flowers and cooking fires. "Tomorrow's your last day," Zara said, wiping down counters. "Does it have to be?" The question hung between them. Under moonlight, Ayo confessed how his ruthlessness had grown from childhood betrayals, a father who abandoned him, business partners who stole his early ideas. "I became what I feared," he admitted, "until a woman with pepper soup showed me my reflection." Zara laughed softly, then grew serious. "I hated you for years before I met you, for what happened to Baba, for the slap, for everything you represented. Now, Ayo prompted when she fell silent. "Now I see the man learning to peel yams at dawn, the billionaire who knows our customers' children by name, the person, not the power." Their fingers intertwined, tentatively at first, then with certainty. 3 months later, Senator Okoye walked free, his name cleared by evidence Ayo's team had uncovered. The same day, the Adetokunbo Foundation launched a program funding legal education for promising students from underprivileged backgrounds. The foundation's first major event was held at a transformed version of Mama Okoye's stall, now Mama's Place, an expanded restaurant employing 20 people from the neighborhood. Ayo and Zara stood side by side, serving their signature pepper soup to gathered dignitaries. "You could have destroyed me that first day," Ayo told her quietly. "Instead, you forced me to see beyond my power to my humanity." Zara smiled. "And you could have buried the truth about my father. Instead, you chose justice over convenience." As evening fell, they stepped outside to address waiting reporters. Someone asked about their relationship status, cameras flashing. Zara looked at the man beside her, no longer the cold billionaire who had slapped her, but a partner transformed by humility and truth. "We're writing a new story," she answered. "One where power bows to principle and love grows from honest foundations." Later, as they walked through Lagos streets hand in hand, passing vendors called out greetings. Children waved, recognizing the couple whose story had captivated the nation. "You know what amazes me most?" Ayo said, stopping to purchase roasted plantains from an elderly woman. "Not how my life changed, but how the change rippled outward." Indeed, their story had sparked conversations across Nigeria about accountability, redemption, and the bridges possible between social classes. Several high-profile executives had initiated community service programs. A law was being debated about penalties for assault regardless of the perpetrator's status. Under an African sky blazing with stars, they reached the beach where Lagos met the Atlantic. Waves whispered ancient wisdom, that true power lies not in wealth or status, but in the courage to face one's flaws and begin again. "I was wrong that day," Ayo said softly. "I said people like you should know their place." Zara looked up at him, moonlight silvering her features. "And now? Now I know that your place, that everyone's place, is wherever dignity and truth lead them." He touched her cheek where his hand had once struck in anger. "Thank you for teaching me that some things cannot be bought, only earned." As they walked along the shore, the city lights behind them and the vast ocean ahead, Lagos whispered its approval of this union born from conflict and transformed by truth, a reminder that sometimes the harshest collisions yield the most beautiful beginnings.